Thank you again. Excellencies, honorable ministers from the IGAD member states, our guest of honor, the special envoy, our representative from the UN Special Envoy's Office, our representative from the UN Women for the Eastern Southern Africa region, other distinguished colleagues, heads of delegations from the respective governments, our partners, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for this inaugural meeting on the IGAD Ministerial Conference on Women, Peace and Security. And Excellencies, we all know that in this region, we do have quite a number of issues, and one of them is we have deficiencies in peace amongst the many other deficiencies that we have, and that in this particular challenge of peace, Excellencies, in this region, it cannot be sustained without having a negotiation with the right group of people. And particularly for us, that group of people are the women of this region. And that the security sector reforms which we as governments and we as IGAD have been endeavoring to work on cannot be legitimate if this group of people are not included, and particularly ensuring that mediation efforts which IGAD has been driving with the support of our development partners cannot be effective if the voices of women and other vulnerable groups are not reflected. We have to have the leadership voices and of course here the life experience that has been lived by women who have lived in territories and environments that are deficient of peace. And in that view, IGAD and its member governments have worked over the years to ensure that that challenge, that deficiency is addressed. With that, I want to take this opportunity again to welcome each and every one of you to this special discussion on women, peace and security in Kenya. We thank the Kenya government for hosting us, and we want to move into the program. And therefore, take this opportunity to welcome my boss, His Excellency, Mr. Mohamed Abdiware, to make his statement. Excellency, let's put our hands together for Excellency Ware.
Good morning, Assalamu alaikum. Her Excellency Hana Chiptumu, Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children Services, Republic of Kenya, excellent ministers from our member states, Honorable Zakaria Desellen from Office on Women's Rights in Ethiopia, Your Excellency Guang Kong, United Nations Special Envoy of the Secretary General for the Horn of Africa, Your Excellency Hiroshi Matsuru, Ambassador of Japan to the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Adam Musa, Deputy Regional Director, UN Women, East and Central Africa, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. On the outset, let me thank Excellency, the government and the people of Kenya in this wonderful city of Nairobi, where most of you have woken up from, and the marvelous county of Machakos, which are hosting us for this important meeting. Kenya, a founding member of IGAD, is of course a pillar of the foundation of IGAD, and we are very grateful for your continuous support to our organization as we endeavor in peace and security, livelihoods and resilience, and social development for our people in the region. I will be very brief because the agenda before us is very serious, and I want to leave a bit of the thought for our delegates and for our guests. We don't need to remind ourselves the pressures facing the Horn of Africa in the area of peace and security. Conflicts in quite a number of our member states with difficult resolution paths not in sight. Political transitions that will come together, especially in this 1 year. All these uncertainties and all these problems creating displacement of people, pressures on livelihoods, this coupled by challenges such as climate change and livelihood challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, cross-border security threats that do not observe the boundaries of member states are a challenge for all of us, as they are not limited to one country or one community. In each one of them, women and young people shoulder the greatest burden of the problems that come from these conflicts. Yet, they do not receive the attention and the support they need to address and cope with these challenges. Women and children and young people are not victims only. They are also participants and important contributors to the process of addressing and challenging these issues. They hold the social fabric together when formal institutions are often not able to address these issues themselves. The debate about whether women and youth are important for the peace process or whether they should be at the table is no longer a matter of debate. It is settled by evidence. It is settled by the principles that we believed in, and it is settled most decisively by the facts that we experience on the ground. What we need is that this participation, this meaningful participation, is nurtured, promoted, supported, so that contributions are meaningful and enduring. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to consider 3 key instruments that will help us achieve this. The first one is to establish a roadmap for the IGAD Women and Youth Mediation Advisory Board. This is not a symbolic undertaking. It is not a gesture that we are trying to say we are promoting inclusion. The advisory body, the advisory board, it is designed to be an independent mechanism that brings strategic counsel, technical expertise, and hard-won formal and traditional knowledge on inclusive practice directly into the lives and conflict resolution mechanisms of our communities. The second is the IGAD Statistics Strategy for 26 to 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know without accurate and reliable data our policy commitments by our intergovernmental institutions and our member states cannot be based on reliable knowledge. So to establish this strategy for statistics will empower our policymakers, our business people, our local groups to have the necessary information they need to make judgment. The third and the final instrument, which we hope to be formally launched, is the IGAD Gender Intersectionality Toolkit. This toolkit is a practice guide developed to help researchers, national research institutions, civil society, and other focal groups in member states apply multidisciplinary intersectional thinking throughout the entire research cycle, from the framing, and the framing is important, from the framing to the policy dissemination. As I conclude, Excellencies, to each member state, I urge you to translate today's endorsement into concrete, visible action for the national policy level. This is very important that ownership is taken at the member state level. To our partners, Japan, the UN, and others, the African Union, all our partners, I ask you for your continued, predictable, sustainable support, moral support, technical support, and resource support to this important endeavor. With that, let me take the opportunity to once again thank the Excellencies that took the time from their busy schedules to grace us with their presence, to lead us in this process. And I look forward for a vibrant, thoughtful, frank discussion that will bring women and youth at the center of our policy making in the security area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Excellency, Deputy Executive Secretary, for those wise statements, and would take this opportunity to welcome the representative from the UN Women, the Deputy Regional Director for UN Women, Eastern and Southern Africa Regional Office, Mr. Adama Musa. Thank you again for joining us. I think this is the third event that you are walking this journey with us. Thank you again, and please welcome and make your statement.
Thank you very much. Her Excellency Anna, thank you very much for hosting us this morning. And I believe as your host, please receive all our blessings, especially in these two holy months, both for Christians and Muslims, which is the Ramadan and Carême. Thank you so much. Honorable ministers from the different countries, His Excellency, the Deputy Executive Secretary, IGAD, thank you so much for these words of welcome. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan, thank you so much for your partnership. You have been a long-standing partner for young women, especially for the agenda Women, Peace and Security, but also for all the humanitarian interventions. Your funding, your support, the people of Japan help save life almost everywhere. I really want to thank you for the support. His Excellency, the Special Envoy, thank you so much for being here. It shows the commitment of the UN at the highest level, and we stand ready to really support you all throughout this journey. and making women, peace, and security as part of your core commitments. I strongly believe that this is one of the very few cases where we have seen that high-level commitment for the UN, directly from the Security Council resolution, but making sure that the different special envoys have it as part and parcel of our agenda. Thank you so much, and it shows the leadership. Distinguished guests, representatives from the different member states, let me say that it's a real privilege and an honor to join you at this very important ministerial conference on women, peace, and security at this decisive moment in the Horn of Africa on behalf of young women. This meeting reflects IGAD's strong leadership in making sure that gender equality and women, peace, and security agenda is not only a commitment, but it's something that needs to be institutionalized to ensure that leadership, protection, rights are systematically integrated across preventive diplomacy, mediation, security sector reform, governance, justice, transitional justice, regional crisis. It means that there is no way we can talk about peace without making sure that women are at the core, at the center of every single peace agreement. Whether you call it a peace deal, whether you call it a peace agreement, it's simply peace. There is no peace without women. And that's definitely what we are all here for. So today's meeting is therefore not only about dialogue, but most importantly, it's about securing high-level political endorsement for concrete actions, accountability, regional coherence, and making sure that this commitment become more than ever after 30 years of adoption, that we are 25 years at least, just to say that enough is enough in terms of commitment. We need to see bold and concrete actions. And I believe this high-level meeting is part of those political commitments. Just to give you the figures. Figures sometimes are important just to give you an idea, but no figure can actually describe the challenges of men and women like you and me in this room who are forced to leave their places just because of conflict. What we are talking about in terms of numbers is more than 25 million people forcibly displaced, which simply means going to places which they did not choose to. You and I may have choose to be in this meeting, but most of those people that you're talking about are forced to leave their land, their houses, their people, to stay in places where sometimes they're not even welcome, but places they did not choose to be. So we are talking about those people. Another number, just to give an open crisis, which is Sudan alone, accounts for over 13.6 million displaced people, making it the largest displacement crisis globally. And that's a significant number, 13 million, which sometimes is even the whole population of some countries. These are people who are forced to be displaced. Though these numbers are not neutral, it means we are talking about men and women, and mostly we're talking about women and children. So figures are here to demonstrate, but figures are hardly enough to describe the challenges. So gender disaggregated evidence show that women and girls face systematically high risk of violence. It's systematic. It's not by accident. Sometimes it's by design. Exploitation, exclusion, particularly when the whole protection mechanisms, the government, the family, the community structures are displayed. When those mechanisms are not in place, it means violence is not only by accident, but it's systematic. Sometimes it's even planned, sometimes it's even targeted. Approximately 35% of women in the region experience intimate partner violence, conflict-related sexual violence. Conflict violence is known, but conflict sexual-related violence is by design, is planned, and it's a crime. And a crime should be defined as a crime. It's a violation of all human rights violation, all human rights. It simply means it's something that we cannot tolerate. On top of it, the painful reality is that women's bodies, and I'm hurtfully saying this because it's so sad, because we're talking about our mothers and our sisters and our daughters, those people who are dear to us, their bodies, the bodies that we came from, are being used at battlefields. It's inhuman, it's degrading, it's undignified, and there is nothing that can describe it but a crime, and it's horrible, especially in the 21st century. Climate change is also a combining risk on top of all this. But for all this, do we need more data to tell it? If we need data, the evidence are there. But why is it important that we talk about those data? Simply because it helps at least bring it to the forefront in terms of numbers, what it actually means. So despite these immense challenges, women are also hope, because they have always been hope across the Horn of Africa and elsewhere. So that we're not talking only about the survivors, but we're also talking about the responders, those who decided not to lay down, but to face the reality, to challenge it, to provide the support, to provide the services, to also be part of the mediation, to be the peace builders, the humanitarian actors, even when sometimes the international community and the humanitarian interventions are not there. Those women are standing and say, we are not going anywhere. We are providing the response that is needed, because this is exactly what they have been doing. So those women, we stand with them. They are strong enough. They are the reason why we continue to support and we continue to fight for human rights. From preventing local conflict to sustaining humanitarian access, advocating for inclusive national dialogues, women are already sustaining peace every day. So what we are trying to say today is the echo of the daily fight. They haven't waited for us to make Revolution 2025, but they have been doing it. All they are saying is, take it up, make sure that whatever you are discussing up there cannot go without us. I think sometimes we talk about putting lenses to see them as if they are invisible. They're adding their voices to say, can you hear us? They're also coming to the table and say, can you see us? I don't think they are blind. Those who are blind are most of us who are making decisions, and we fail to see that this table, we don't have enough women. This table, we don't have enough men. This table, we are sure that we need to make sure that we have a right balance. So in most of the experiences from South Sudan, Somalia, Sudan, women have really demonstrated that they can bring peace, and then we can count on them. Both in terms of making sure that, just to give the example of Somalia, where the women are organized like the sixth clan in terms of representation, to say that, okay, if you don't need us to be the table, you need the clans, we are also part of the clans. They go is 6+1 plan, because they make the majority of the population. We also see in Sudan, we have unified to deliver humanitarian assistance, document human rights, and they are vocal and making sure that their voice is heard and they don't remain invisible. So this is to tell you that beyond the suffering, beyond the hardship, they are positive, they stand firm, they count it, they only want us to hear and count them. So the challenge is on our side. Excellence is here present, not on the side of women. It's not women who are facing problems. The challenge is in the decision-making process. It is to us to demonstrate that we have the capacity to see, and this is why this meeting is very important. Excellencies, the Horn of Africa already has strong normative foundation. So the issue is not about politics. The issue is not about strategies. The issues are basically about implementation, Measuring, accountability, accountability, accountability. Walk your talk. This is exactly what is being asked for. Enough of laws, enough of policies. Let's implement, account for it, and demonstrate that we walk the talk. This is what the call is for. While combining this meeting with the launch of the IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy, I think it's very important, just because this strategy will help us identify who is the most affected, where they are, and how they are. As if we need more, but if you say you need more, this data statistic will give you the evidence. Because anytime we're talking about gender issues, this is the only subject I've been working on these issues for a number of years, I don't know, 20 plus, where they ask you for more. Just as if more does not mean they don't understand it, it simply means they are not convinced. So we need more evidence, more evidence, more evidence. As if more evidence is necessary. Personally, I don't believe we need more evidence. We need more action, not more evidence. So it will help track the progress, fill the gap, but most importantly, and this is where the importance of evidence is targeted interventions. Interventions that make sense to the people, not interventions that come from up, but interventions that are designed from the communities that live those problems. So as I said, the regional have strong commitments. What is required now is implementation, translating commitments into concrete actions, adequate resources, adequate resources, adequate resources. Sometimes, even after the peace agreement, we will go back and build infrastructures and we forget the services. The reality of the matter is that peace does not come from infrastructures. Peace comes from the satisfaction of the basic human services. Education, health, livelihood, those things that sustain life. Because another alternative to peace is death. Bringing peace, bringing life back, is to invest in services that can sustain life. So the region needs to ensure that women's full and equal meaningful participation is a reality in peace processes, in political dialogue, and most importantly, in security decision-making processes. And I will put on top of it justice, justice, justice. There is no peace, no sustainable peace without justice. Otherwise, we silence the guns, we pause, we start again, we start again, we start again. Because the root causes of those conflicts are not being tackled. This also means strengthening protection, 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 and most importantly, accountability mechanisms. Supporting women-led organizations because they have demonstrated their capacity, meaning providing additional resources. You can cut the funds, you can put them elsewhere, but please, if you want the fund to serve, put them in the hands of those who are in a daily contact with those who suffer the problem. Support women-led organizations because they are the front line. And also making sure that they also deliver us substantially. Let me stop here by thanking IGAD for inviting us here, reaffirming our commitment to stand by IGAD, to stand by the member states to make sure that we deliver for women, peace and security, to move from commitment, to move from only a plan to a commitment, but most importantly to support the member state to be accountable, as well as we are also accountable for it. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musa, for those remarks. Before I invite the next speaker, I would like to bring you up to speed with our program. In front of you, we have a folder which has the program, the agenda for the day, which should end by 12:30. We have some of our senior, our guest speakers proceeding for other meetings, and therefore we've decided to keep the program short. We will shelve the session on the overview of the establishment of the IGAD Women Peace and Mediation Advisory Board. That should save us some few minutes. And I take this opportunity to welcome His Excellency Guang Gong, the UN Secretary General, Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, to make his statement. Excellency, welcome. Let's appreciate him.
Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, and colleagues, good morning.
Good morning.
Allow me to begin by thanking IGAD for convening this Ministerial Conference on Women, Peace and Security, and for the continued partnership that advances our joint efforts across the Horn of Africa. The United Nations Office of the Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa values this partnership and remains committed to supporting the region's priorities for peace, stability, and inclusion. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the women, peace, and security landscape in the region continues to be shaped by interconnected pressures. Conflicts related sexual violence remains a serious concern in several contexts. Hate speech and online abuse increasingly target women, peace builders, and public leaders. Climate-related shocks, such as droughts, floods, and resource scarcity, continue to compound existing vulnerabilities across communities. These challenges transcend borders and underscore the importance of regional integration. As you can attest, women in the Horn of Africa have consistently played crucial roles in supporting their communities during conflicts and crises. While their leadership is not new, it is often unrecognized. Globally, women make up less than 10% of negotiators in official peace talks, and many peace agreements fail to include their perspectives. Therefore, ensuring women's full, equal, and meaningful participation is a shared global responsibility. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the work of the Office of the Special Envoy as it relates to women, peace, and security is guided by several important priorities. First, we draw inspiration from the Secretary General's strong commitment to women, peace, and security agenda, including through his common pledge for women's participation in peace processes, which underscores the importance of women's leadership and the need for inclusive, data-driven peace efforts. The pledge also reflects the broader UN commitment to strengthening gender-responsive data, statistics, and intersectional analysis, which helps ensure that political engagement and preventive diplomacy address the realities of women and girls in all their diversity. Second, our office remains committed to supporting gender-responsive political and mediation processes across the region. This includes continuing our work with IGAD and its member states to help create the enabling conditions that allow women to participate safely and meaningfully in peace and political dialogues. Finally, our engagement is reinforced through IGAD UN Joint Framework for Cooperation, which strengthens joint conflicts analysis, early warning, preventive diplomacy, and mediation support across the region. Gender-responsive approaches are integrated into this shared framework, reflecting our mutual commitments to inclusive peace and security. As I conclude, I would like to commend IGAD for developing 3 significant documents: the IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy, the Gendered Intersectionality Toolkit, and the draft IGAD Women and Youth Mediation Board Roadmap. The developments of these important documents reflects a collective commitment to strengthening the analytical foundation that informs regional and national initiatives and constitute a crucial step towards enhancing inclusive mediation capacities within the region. In this regard, I reaffirm our commitments to continued collaboration with IGAD and its member states to strengthen and collectively implement regional women, peace, and security initiatives, including promoting gender-sensitive analysis and supporting the region's path towards peace, stability, and inclusive governance. I thank you.
Thank you, Excellency Special Envoy, for those wise statements. And with that, I want to invite His Excellency Hiroshi Matsura, the Ambassador of Japan to Kenya, to make his statement. Excellency, welcome. Let's appreciate him.
Your Excellency, Distinguished Deputy Executive Secretary of IGAD, Mr. Mohamed Ware, Your Excellencies, Honorable Gender Ministers of the member countries, esteemed representatives from UN, UN Women, OSCE, Horn of Africa, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning.
Morning.
It is a distinct honor and privilege for me to address this crucial IGAD Ministerial meeting on women, peace and security, women's leadership in mediation. On behalf of the government of Japan and the people of Japan, extend my sincere gratitude to IGAD for its steadfast commitment to fostering women, peace and security in this region, and we are profoundly honored to support IGAD's efforts on WPS. And I thank IGAD for inviting me to this most significant event to drive the cause further ahead. As we all know, the Horn of Africa is a region of the rich heritage of history and culture, and concurrently occupies a geopolitically strategic position with significant potential for growth, driven by abundant population of youth and the endowment of natural resources. Sadly, the region has suffered too long from conflicts, humanitarian crisis, and climate change, and the women and girls in the region have disproportionately affected by conflicts. Plainly, it is a fact that women often bear the brunt of conflict and are in critical need of protection. But there is another equally important fact, that is that women are, at the same time, powerful catalysts for positive change and for peacemaking and peace building. Their active role is indispensable for achieving sustainable peace and truly inclusive governance post-conflict. Yet in the Horn of Africa, as in numerous other parts of the world, women remain consistently underrepresented in decision-making process related to peace, security, and mediation. Well, Japan has also the issue of underrepresentation of women. Only 4 months ago, we came to have the first woman prime minister and the first woman finance minister. But I proudly say that at my embassy, men and women are roughly equally represented. It is with this understanding that Japan launched the Initiative for Women's Human Resources Development for Peace in the Horn of Africa on the occasion of IGAD Ministerial meeting back in August 2024. This initiative was built upon the foundational step taken by His Excellency Dr. Wagner Gebeyehu, the Executive Secretary of IGAD, when he had met the then Japanese Foreign Minister, Ms. Kamikawa Yoko, the most recent woman Foreign Minister of Japan, in June 2024. At the meeting, I guess, he and she felt the union and the unity of the mind and the thinking in an instance and reaffirmed the importance of enhancing cooperation between Japan and IGAD in WPS for regional peace and stability. Subsequently, at the IGAD Ministerial meeting in August of the year, Japan formally announced the launch of this initiative that takes a comprehensive and region-wide approach centered upon IGAD's critical role to empower women and foster their leadership in peacemaking and peace building across this region. Today, we stand at a significant juncture, witnessing very rich outcomes of this initiative. Japan has been proud to support IGAD's strenuous efforts to strengthen women's leadership in mediation, notably through the establishment of the IGAD Women Mediators Advisory Board. We have a very high hope that the board, with its aim to institutionalize women's mediation efforts and strengthen regional frameworks, will significantly enhance women's capacity for conflict resolution in the region and ensure that gender perspectives are mainstreamed across all peace processes. As we proceed with today's agenda, I eagerly anticipate the launch of the IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy and the Gendered Intersectionality Toolkit, as Mr. Ware just introduced to us, to be followed by the adoption of the IGAD Joint Ministerial Declaration. Wonderful. These outcomes will manifestly constitute a significant milestone for the effective implementation of the 2004 IGAD Gender Policy and Strategy and the IGAD Regional Gender Equality Strategy 2023-2030. And the presence of the honorable gender ministers here and your political commitment to execute the outcomes today gives assurance for the progress in tomorrow. I congratulate that. Let me end by reaffirming Japan's continued partnership with the IGAD and its member states. We are committed to working hand in hand with you, support the full implementation of the WPS, empower women, and build a more peaceful and secure future for all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Excellency Ambassador of Japan, for those wise statements, and therefore we are coming towards the end of our opening statement, and I take this opportunity to welcome our guest of honor, Her Excellency CS Minister for Gender, Culture and Children's Services in Kenya, Hannah Wendot, to welcome us and officially allow us to proceed. Excellency, you will also make your statement, so yeah.
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to Kenya.
Asante.
Yes, we are pleased to see all of you. Your Excellency Kwang Gong, United Nations Special Envoy of the Secretary General for the Horn of Africa, Honorable Nunga Nuna Roda Rudolph, South Sudan National Minister for Gender, Child and Social Welfare, Honorable Peace Mutuso, Minister of State for Gender and Culture from Uganda, Honorable Mrs. Marian Abuka, Deputy Minister of Family and Human Rights Development of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Mr. Zacharias Desalum Delfu, Lead Executive Officer, Women's Rights Protection and Response, Ministry of Women and Social Affairs, Ethiopia, all members of parliament present, Honorable Ambassador from the Republic of, let me even read the name so that I get it once and for all. His Excellency Hiroshi Matsura, Ambassador of Japan to Kenya, representatives of ministries, representatives of civil society organizations, our hosts in this forum, His Excellency Abdi Ware, the IGAD Deputy Executive Secretary, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As I welcome you to Kenya and as I make this statement, I'm very happy today. This is my second time to participate, and I'm now understanding seriously the role that IGAD is playing on matters to do with women, peace, and security. I'm standing here as a woman, and I know what it means when you talk about women being at the front, and women being the victims, and women now being put at the center in the decision-making process so that we can be able to steer, especially our continent, to first world. So thank you very much, IGAD, for this meticulous planning. So it is a great honor to address this high-level ministerial meeting convened under the auspices of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development here in Nairobi, at a moment of strategic importance for our region. I wish to commend IGAD for its steadfast leadership in advancing the women, peace, and security agenda, and for convening us to deliberate on the establishment of the Women Mediators Advisory Board. This initiative reflects our collective recognition that sustainable peace in the IGAD region cannot be achieved without the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women at all levels of decision-making, all levels, right from the very basic, at the village level, all the way to the national level. The Horn of Africa continues to face complex and interlinked challenges, including armed conflict, violence, extremism, displacement, climate-related insecurity, political transitions. Women and girls bear a disproportionate burden of these crises, yet they remain underrepresented in formal peace negotiations and mediation efforts. Despite the normative commitments we have made at global, continental, and regional levels, women's participation in high-level mediation remains limited. This reality undermines both the inclusivity and durability of peace agreements. And I think you will all agree with me that when women know, when women are asked to give their opinion, or if they are given an opportunity to say, they can be able to inform the decisions, or they can be able to alert when there are serious issues which are happening. The issue is, are they there? So I want to say this is actually the moment when we need to say women should be involved in the mediation processes so that they can be able to inform the decision making and be able to avert some of the crises that we face as a continent and even in the world. So the establishment of the IGAD Women Mediators Advisory Board makes a historic and transformative step toward institutionalizing women's leadership in peace processes across our region. The advisory board will provide technical expertise, strategic guidance, and gender-responsive analysis to mediation efforts under IGAD's auspices. It will also serve as a bridge between regional mechanisms and national women mediators networks, ensuring that the lived experiences of women and at community level inform high-level negotiations. This initiative is firmly anchored in our obligations under the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 and subsequent resolutions on women, peace, and security, which call upon member states to ensure women's full participation in conflict prevention, peace building, peacekeeping, and post-conflict reconstruction. It is equally aligned with continental frameworks, including the African Union's commitment to silencing the guns and strengthening inclusive governance. Kenya reaffirms its unwavering commitment to advancing the women, peace, and security agenda, both nationally and regionally. We have invested in strengthening women's participation in community peace structures, mediation initiatives, and national dialogue processes. We recognize, however, that progress requires sustained political will, adequate financing, and accountability mechanisms. I therefore urge IGAD member states to prioritize the development, implementation, and resourcing of national action plans on women, peace, and security, and to integrate gender perspectives in all peace and security frameworks. As we operationalize the Women Mediators Advisory Board, let us ensure that this is adequately supported, technically resourced, and politically empowered to influence ongoing and future peace processes. Let us also strengthen partnerships with civil society, women-led organizations, and grassroots peace builders whose resilience and leadership remain indispensable to regional stability. Kenya commends the leadership of IGAD for developing the IGAD Gender Strategy, which provides a comprehensive and forward-looking framework for advancing gender equality and women's empowerment across the region. The strategy demonstrates IGAD's strong commitment to institutionalizing gender mainstreaming within its programs and member states, and strengthening women's participation in peace and security processes, enhancing economic empowerment, and addressing structural inequalities that hinder inclusive development. Today's meeting should not be seen as the culmination. Today's meeting should not be seen not only as a culmination of our efforts, but rather as a renewed commitment to transformative action. The women and girls of our region deserve peace processes that reflect their realities, safeguard their rights, and harness their leadership. By institutionalizing women's mediation expertise within IGAD, we move closer to building a region where peace is inclusive, just, and sustainable. I thank you all, and I again want to welcome all of you to Nairobi. Welcome to Kenya. The weather is wonderful. So asanteni sana na karibu.
Thank you. Before you take your seat, Excellency, you are officially supposed to declare this meeting open before you take up the next task.
Thank you very much. And because I come from a community where you must accept by standing, I say that we all be upstanding as I declare Thank you very much for listening to me. And let me now declare that this meeting is officially opened. Karibuni sana. And you can now have your seats.
Thank you. CS, please,
You
let's
can have your
our
seats. Yes.
Let's take our seats again. Excellencies, you can. CS, you can come back to your seat before we. Yeah. Thank you. I have completed my tenure of duty for now. I want to take this opportunity to hand over this next session to His Excellency and the CS.
Thank you very much. Excellencies at the high table, thank you very much for your support, for your endorsement of the role of IGAD, and for your commitment to this very important agenda. Excellency, I want to welcome you once again in your capacity to chair as our member state delegations, the ministers and the other delegations make their statement. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my co-chair. Yeah, it is a privilege to sit here, the only woman here, actually. Thank you very much. At this particular time, I would like to welcome my fellow ministers from, we have, yes, we are good. We are a good number. Allow me to start by welcoming my sister from Uganda. Yes, most welcome to make your statements. Karibu sana, my sister.
I'm continuing with the mechanisms that Uganda has implemented. So there's continuous promoting of women, effective representation and participation in peace building, conflict resolution, mediation, integration of refugees in Uganda's development process, and continuously share experiences in conflict resolution and peace building currently implemented in the third National Action Plan. As we talk, in Uganda right now, we don't have any civil conflict, and this we have enjoyed peace for the last 30 years. Yes. The whole of Uganda has been enjoying peace and is all is involved into development because we took a deliberate action to involve women and youth in the peace building of the country. I want also to state that I have been around for now 10 years in this discussion, and I remember raising this particular matter of creating a mediation forum for women. In 2022 in Khartoum, I raised the same matter in 2023 in Mombasa, in 2024 when we hosted in Uganda, and here in this particular room last year, and I'm happy IGAD has taken it up. I'm so appreciative that IGAD has taken this up. But I also want to state that we discussed and agreed that should be a board that constitutes women in peace and security. We have two genders in the world, men and women. But every time we talk about women, then we smuggle youth. Who are men? Majorly when youth come, majority of them, 80% will be boys. So when will the women's voice be heard? And yet they're the most affected. And when we talk about youth, they also include boys and girls. So why don't we create a space specifically for women? Because they're the most affected when there is peace, when there is insecurity, when there is conflict, and yet they don't participate in creating that conflict. So let us be deliberate. Even when we talk about gender segregated data, it will be difficult to bring two variables on the same board. You have men and women, then you have youth. These three variables, for those who have done statistics, it is quite difficult to achieve in one lot. So deliberately appreciate that women exist and exist in numbers, and they can contribute to peace building. Give them space, listen to them. When there is space for youth, let us bring the youth also on board. We'll listen to square issues concerning youth holistically, and then we'll be able to evaluate the systems, look at the performance, and make judgment on which direction we take. As of Uganda, we commit and commend the efforts of IGAD, the development partners, the UN Women Government of Japan, member states of IGAD, with this statistical strategy. Honorable Ministers, quality, updated, and timely statistics, information, and data continues to be one of the centers for our efforts in tracking progress, identifying existing gaps, and informing our development partners and priorities, including the enactment of prerequisite national statistical laws and national strategies for the development of statistics. We need to harmonize gender statistics, indicators, and approaches to the generation, packaging, dissemination, utilization, and reporting on gender statistics. Leveraging innovations in data and statistics to promote a just, peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous society for Africa is crucial and very, very important. We need to identify and prioritize gender issues among IGAD member states in respect to several issues affecting development, the governance, leadership, gender-based violence, conflict, and refugees, among others, and will take action. The government of Uganda commits to raising awareness on the role of statistics in shaping inclusive and sustainable development policies in Africa and in monitoring progress towards achieving the Agenda 2030, SDG, IGAD Gender Strategy, AU Agenda 2063, and other regional and national agendas. We are committed to highlighting ongoing initiatives and the need for investment in statistical capacity building to enhance the development, improvement, and utilization of official statistics in the region. Uganda is committed to promoting the use of modern technologies, innovations across the data value chain. We are also committed to showcasing best practices in data-driven planning and decision-making for sustainable development in the region. We continue to encourage collaborations among governments, priority sector, academia, regional and international organizations in strengthening statistical systems in the region and at the national level. The Gender Statistical Strategy emphasizes the indispensable role of data in the inclusive and sustainable development, and what is measured is always valued. I reaffirm Uganda's commitment to elaborate with member states. I beg your pardon. I wish to affirm Uganda's commitment to collaborate with other member states in the production and use of official data, statistics that promote our shared values. I thank you so much for God and my country.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I have heard you very well, and I'm particularly very happy that for 30 years in Uganda, you've not had any conflict, and we are really grateful for that. We are also happy on your gender responsive budgeting, which you have reaffirmed that there is no budget that does not include the women and the youth. That is a great stride. Allow me also to say I'm very happy that you made this statement in 2022, 2023, 2024, the establishment of this forum, which IGAD has taken over. It was waiting for us, and today we are happy that IGAD saw the sense and the wisdom in establishment of this advisory board. So thank you, IGAD, for your steadfast leadership. Allow me at this particular time to invite my fellow minister from the Republic of South Sudan. Most welcome, Minister.
Our host and representative of the government, the Executive Secretary of IGAD, honorable ministers, distinguished experts, members of parliament around, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to attend this IGAD Ministerial Conference for the first time. It's my pleasure. On behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of South Sudan, I express our sincerely appreciation to IGAD for convening this important ministerial meeting. Following 2 days of productive technical deliberations, I commend the experts whose work on the IGAD Agenda Strategic and Women and Youth Media Advisory Board reflect our regions and commitment to inclusive governance, sustainable peace, and evidence-driven development. Excellencies, the Gender Statistics Strategy is not merely about data. It is about accountability and informed decision-making, reliable, harmonized, and gender-responsive. Statistics enable us to plan better, budget effectively, and measure real progress in the closing gaps in education, economic, and health. Participation and political representation. For South Sudan, this framework is strengthening our national planning and enhancing our ability to deliver tangible results, urgently with Agenda 2063 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Equally important is the establishment of Women and Youth Mediation Advisory Board. Sustainable peace cannot be achieved without the meaningful participation of women and youth. They are not observed in peace process. They are central actors in prevention, mediation, and reconciliation. South Sudan supports their participation and building a strong regional pool of training mediators to ensure future agreements are inclusive and durable. As a minister, our role is to move from strategic to implementation. Political commitment must be matched with domestic financing. Gender equality, child protection, and social welfare must be reflected in national budget as core investment in peace. Stability and economic transformation, these are not optional agendas. They are development imperatives. We also call upon our regional and development partners to continue supporting capacity building, digital system, and institutionally strengthening to ensure a stable impact of peace in South Sudan. Likewise, as a gender, Minister of Gender, many people understand that it is only for women and children. We should not also forget our men. Men are also going under serious trauma. Some of them hang themselves because of the situation that they are going through. Not all men are soldiers. There are some civilians among them. So we also look forward to have socially a center that will approach them and talk to them for mentally disturbance. So all these need a collective effort with the support of IGAD and other partners to reinforce the peace agreement in South Sudan so that we may come to peaceful coexistence in South Sudan. Let this meeting mark a decision step towards a more inclusive, data-driven, and peaceful IGAD region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister from South Sudan. Indeed, it is true, women cannot be absorbed in peace, in the peace process, and we need men to own up. We need men to know that gender is both men and women. And we cannot deal with women too far without remembering that when the men are not on the table, we'll go back again. We'll end up losing the gains. Therefore, we hear you, South Sudan, and thank you for your good contribution to this important agenda. Allow me now to invite the representative from Djibouti. Djibouti, yes, most welcome.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the excellent ministers, diplomat, United Nations Special Envoy, and partner gathered here today. Second, I would like to acknowledge sincerely thanks IGAD to efforts, to strong commitment and efforts impose women mediation and the development of the gender statistics strategy. Third, I would like to thank Kenya government to host this conference which is higher levels. Let me say short words about gender equality in Djibouti. Gender issue in Djibouti is a higher sensitive and remain a national priority. The government has implemented several important initiatives, including national gender policy, which started 2000. So since 2000, there is gender equality policy, and when they finish 5 years, it's always renewed and new policy has adopted. The latest national gender policy in Djibouti is valid for the period 2024-2030. Regarding gender statistics, I'm very glad to see in this conference gender statistics strategy, as I am gender statistics expert that has been prepared to improve statistical area related to gender equality as in the IGAD regions. As we are the national statistical offices, we contribute by producing and analysis sexy discrimination data, work with all stakeholders to support the evidence based on policy and promote gender equality and informing decision making. Really, I hope that our collective efforts will continue to advance and the empowerment of women across the IGAD region and throughout Africa. Name of government of Djibouti, I say you merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, our brother from Djibouti. Particularly happy that from the year 2000, you have been having the gender equality policy, which you review from time to time. And that is the reason why we are here, so that we can exchange views and support the agenda of the IGAD member states, so that we can come up with a strong roadmap in the advisory board. So thank you very much. Now you'll allow me to invite the representative from Ethiopia. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here representing Ethiopia, and I will deliver my commitment statement on behalf of Minister of Social Affairs. First of all, I would like to thank IGAD for convening this important meeting, and also the government of Kenya in hosting this meeting. Honorable gender ministers, executive secretaries, ambassadors, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Ethiopia welcomes the proposed institutional strengthening of IGAD's mediation architecture and support the establishment and operationalization of IGAD Women Youth Mediation Advisory Board as outlined in the draft roadmap before us and IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy. The Horn of Africa continues to face complex political transitions, cross-border security challenges, climate-induced tensions, and fragile governance contexts. These conditions require structured, professional, and inclusive regional mechanisms capable of preventive diplomacy and sustained political engagement. Ethiopia affirms that institutionalized mediation closely linked to early warning systems and grounded in technical competence, neutrality, and accountability is essential for sustainable peace in our region. In this regard, Ethiopia commits to one, endorsing the establishment and formal recognition of the IGAD Women and Youth Mediators Advisory Board as a permanent advisory mechanism within the IGAD mediation architecture. Secondly, advancing women's and youth meaningful participation in peace process, ensuring influence in agenda setting, negotiation, design, and implementation monitoring. Assigning highly qualified Ethiopian women and youth mediators to serve as the national roster, the regional roster and advisory structures. We also committed to aligning national efforts and initiatives with regional frameworks, including the Regional Action Plan on WPS, recognizing that durable peace requires gender-responsive approach. We also committed to promoting measurable participation benchmarks for women and youth in IGAD-led mediation process, supported by clear standards and accountability mechanisms. Regarding IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy, we also commit to, and we also recognize the importance of data in order to put relevant policies for gender equality and evidence-driven interventions. So we welcome the introduction of gender intersectionality toolkit and strategy and commit to aligning with the existing national evidence generation systems. Furthermore, Ethiopia is prepared to demonstrate leadership by supporting the development of operational guidelines for the Women and Youth Mediators Advisory Board, hosting or co-hosting regional consultation to strengthen the network of women mediators, sharing national experiences and lessons in inclusive peace building, encouraging member states to institutionalize national women and youth mediators platform linked to IGAD structure. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, Ethiopia supports a mediation architecture that is independent yet accountable, preventive rather than reactive, technically competent and professionally staffed, gender balanced as a minimum operational standards, integrated with this warning system and early warning system and regional political analysis mechanism. So institutional reform must translate into measurable improvements in mediation effectiveness, credibility, and the durability of peace agreements. In conclusion, peace in our region cannot rely solely on crisis response. It must be built through strong institutions, professional standards, inclusive participation, and sustained political commitment. Ethiopia stands ready and firm to work collaboratively with fellow member states to ensure that IGAD evolves into a forward-looking, gender-responsive, and credible peace actor. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ethiopia, for bringing in the issue of benchmarking, the issue of inclusion of regional mechanisms and sustained political participation in our programs. And these are the ideas that we require so that we can have an independent and a sustainable body that we are going to establish today. It has to be accountable, independent, and must be responsive to the needs of the region, and especially as we talk about the issues which are there in the Horn of Africa. So thank you very much. I will now welcome my brother from Kenya, because I had already spoken. Let's hear from the gentleman, the statement from Kenya.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Government of the Republic of Kenya, I'm honored to address this esteemed gathering at the IGAD Women, Peace and Security Ministerial Conference. We commend the leadership of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development framework for convening us at this critical moment as we adopt the IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy, the IGAD Women and Youth Mediation Advisory Forum, and the Gendered Intersectionality Toolkit. These landmark frameworks reflect our collective commitment to advancing the women, peace, and security agenda across our regions. They are not merely policy documents, they are instruments for transformation. The IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy will strengthen the way we collect, analyze, and use the gender disaggregated data. Reliable data is essential for evidence-based policymaking, ensuring that our interventions are targeted, inclusive, and impactful. With better statistics, we can better measure progress and close persistent gender gaps. Ladies and gentlemen, the IGAD Women and Youth Mediation Advisory Forum institutionalizes the meaningful participation of women and youth in peace processes. Kenya firmly believes that sustainable peace is only achievable when those most affected by conflict, especially women and young people, are at the table, shaping solutions and influencing outcomes. The Gendered Intersectional Toolkit further enhances our regional capacity for inclusive research and programming. By recognizing how overlapping factors such as gender, age, disability, and economic status shape experiences, this tool ensures that no one is left behind in our peace building and development efforts. Kenya deeply appreciates IGAD's coordination role and the spirit of collaboration among all members. Our shared ownership of these processes demonstrates that regional solidarity remains our greatest strength. Call to action. As we adopt these frameworks today, let us reaffirm our commitment to implementation. Together, through partnership, accountability, and sustained political will, we can build a more peaceful, equitable, and resilient IGAD region. I thank you. Asanteni.
Thank you very much. Kenya says no one should be left behind, and we need to commit to what we agree upon. For us to take Africa to the next level, we need to move from being just participants, but we become meaningful, or we ensure that what we speak about, we disseminate and we turn them into actions. Because the world is looking, the world is watching, our communities are looking up to us in this room. Thank you very much, Kenya. Now, allow me to welcome the representative from the Republic of Somalia. Somalia? Thank you.
I warmly greet you all. Thank you. It is an honor to join this important meeting and advise in gender-responsive peace and process in our region. I commend the IGAD for the convening this platform and productive two-day technical two-day technical meeting that validated the gender statistics strategy, reviewed the intersectionality toolkit, and advised the IGAD Women Mediators Forum. Somalia has made the progress in the promoting women leadership and participation. In the recent local council election in the Banadiri region, women secure 26% of meaningful steps towards including governance. Our ministry has also established women peace networks that are actively engaged in conflict resolution, peace building, and addressing conflict-related sexual violence. Youth are equally playing an important role in strengthening peace and security across the country. On behalf of the federal government of Somalia, I extend sincere appreciation to IGAD Member States for their continued solidarity and support. As we move forward, let us strengthen religion cooperation and ensure women are not only participants, but also leaders in peace and meaningful inclusion of women. Asanteni sana, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm particularly delighted on that statement that you said in the elections there were 26% were women. That is great. I think they deserve a clap, isn't it? Wow, considering where Somalia have come from, we are very, very grateful. Very good. Thank you very much. It tells me that the target is 30%, and they already achieved 26%. That is very progressive. Congratulations, and we are very grateful. So I think, is there any other representative from any other country that I may not have seen? Yes, that is good. That representation was quite good. I think we have from almost all parts of representation of almost all the member states. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you for the statements that you have made. They shall be taken into account as you come up with a joint communique. Asanteni sana, and welcome once more.
Thank you, Honorable CS.
Okay.
That brings us to the end of the second session of our program. And before I hand over the program to Amina, I would request that the dignitaries at the high table join us in the main sitting area so that we can reflect or project the communique. Special Envoy, CS, Excellency Ware, UN Women, please join us. And someone to please load the communique. Amina, I want to hand over the program to Amina.
I wait for our council, Karen, to project the communique. Communications team, please support. Karen? Okay. From here is when I read verbatim. Okay, this. Okay. As they project, Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, and partners, I have the honor to present the communique of the IGAD Ministerial Conference on Women, Peace and Security, convened in Nairobi on the 27th February 2026. With your kind indulgence, I will summarize the preambular and recalling sections of the communique, and then proceed to read the operative resolutions in full. Today, the ministers, heads of delegations responsible for gender from IGAD member states met to advance institutionalization of gender transformative mediation within the IGAD peace and security architecture. The conference was convened by the IGAD Secretariat in partnership with the Government of Japan, UN Women, and the Office of the United Nations Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa. The ministers recalled the IGAD Treaty, relevant regional strategies and protocols, and reaffirmed their commitment under continental and global frameworks, including the United Nations Security Council on Women, Peace and Security, Resolution 1325, and Youth, Peace and Security, CEDAW, the Maputo Protocol, and the African Union Agenda 2063. They acknowledged IGAD's ongoing efforts to strengthen the meaningful participation of women and youth in peace processes, while recognizing the persistent underrepresentation of women and youth in formal mediation and the disproportionate impact of conflict and climate-related crises across the region. Following their deliberations, the ministers hereby resolve as follows. And we now proceed to the verbatim bit of the communique, which is also reflected to the front as well as the side. On the IGAD Women, Youth and Mediation Advisory Board, we endorse the roadmap for the establishment of the IGAD Women and Youth Mediation Advisory Board, in brackets, IMAB, as an independent advisory mechanism to provide strategic counsel, technical accompaniment, and inclusion of expertise to IGAD-led mediation and preventive diplomacy efforts. Direct the IGAD Secretariat to operationalize the advisory board within 12 months of this endorsement, including the development of terms of reference, the appointment of board members composed of 7 to 9 eminent regional women and youth professionals, and the establishment of a technical support unit within the Secretariat. Commit to ensuring women and youth leadership in all structures of the advisory board, the technical support unit, and the advisory panel and mediation roster, and the gender and inclusion coordination mechanism. Request that the advisory board, following its establishment, form women and youth advisory groups in all IGAD-led mediation processes, and develop minimum participation benchmarks for women and youth in formal negotiations. Call upon the IGAD Secretariat to integrate the advisory board's work with the conflict early warning mechanism, in bracket C1, to strengthen the link between early warning analysis and preventive mediation through inclusive and participatory approach. On the IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy 2026 to 2030, adopt the IGAD Gender Statistics Strategy as the regional framework for strengthening the production, harmonization, dissemination, and use of gender disaggregated data across all sectors, including peace and security. Urge member states to strengthen the national statistic capacities for gender data collection, invest in the training of statistics personnel, and align national data systems with the strategy's harmonized indicators and reporting frameworks. On the toolkit, launch the Gendered Intersectionality Toolkit as a practical resource for applying intersectional analysis to policy, programming, and monitoring across IGAD institutions and member states. On financing and partnerships, commit to predictable multi-year financing for the advisory board and the gender statistics strategy, including through the establishment of IGAD Women and Youth Mediation Support Fund, with indicative annual contributions from member states. Call upon the African Union, regional economic communities, civil society organizations, academia, the international community, government of Japan, UN Women, the United Nations Office of the Special Envoy for Horn of Africa, and other partners to provide sustained technical, financial, and political support to the implementation of these instruments. On accountability and follow-up, direct the IGAD Secretariat to report annually to the ministers responsible for gender and youth on the implementation of this communique, using gender disaggregated performance indicators and inclusivity benchmarks. Request an independent external evaluation of the advisory board at the end of its initial 3-year cycle, with findings and recommendations to be presented to the ministers of gender and youth. And express our collective gratitude to the government of Kenya for hosting this conference, and to the government of Japan, UN Women, and Office of the Special Envoy for their partnership and support. The ministers are to guide on the adoption of this, and I'll hand over to His Excellency to take it from here.
IGAD Secretariat takes this responsibility very seriously, and we take it up so that we deliver on your instructions and your commitments. I particularly noted a very important phrase from my brother from Ethiopia on the establishment of the board, linking independence and accountability. These two are very important. As you all know, peace mediation is very important, very sensitive. A lot of back-channel diplomacy is involved, a lot of acrimony. Therefore, we need to have an accountable body. We are not going to create a monster that is not accountable to anybody, relying on the funding of outside forces, and then at one point we have no idea what this body is doing. IGAD takes this very seriously, and Excellencies, we will continue to consult with you as we go through this path. Not only in the establishment, but in the appointment of the personnel therein. IGAD Secretariat does not exist but with the soul and spirit of our member states. Therefore, on behalf of my Executive Secretary, I give you the commitment of the IGAD Secretariat to take this responsibility very seriously. With that, Excellency, I give you the microphone to chair the collection of the inputs of the member states and the adoption of this communique for release. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would now like to have a minute or so from you, in the same order in which we were in Uganda.
To understand that. So that, because we have always talked about, and the topic of this discussion is IGAD Ministerial Conference on Women, Peace and Security. It is a ministerial conference. The international obligations here highlighted rise to the Maputo Protocol of non-segregation of women. It goes to the African Charter. It goes to the Protocol of all these discussions we have here are about women's involvement. But then I can see the youth. I'm not against youth, they are our children. But the space for women is specifically what we're here for. So I want to know why this board must constitute both women and youth, whether it is not going to infringe on women's capacity and rights. Number two, in this communique, we have talked about the numbers, the board, between 7 and 8. We are not specific. This may cause a problem in future. If you have to defer from 7 to go to 9, so it is between 7 and 9. What informs this number? Can we be specific on the number? As we make a communique, can we be specific whether they are going to be 7 or 9? What is informing us on this? I also had the language of directing and requesting. Is this a communique of ministers requesting? Are we directing? So there is the request, the idea of request, there's a request somewhere. Who is communicating? Who is writing? Who is the author? So if we are requesting, then we should know who we are requesting to take action. Are we requesting member states? Are we requesting IGAD? Are we directing? What is? So the language, there was a mix over there. And then I also saw the idea of ministers of gender and youth. In many of our regional ministers, maybe we need to get the definition of gender. Because in many of these ministries, the minister responsible for gender usually takes up the youth as well. We may get a problem in future where we have to bring both ministers, where a member state has to bring a minister for gender and a minister for youth, and yet the minister for gender is the overall coordinator of the ministry, which is also a docket which is also embeds the youth issues. So some of these issues, these are some of the issues I could off cuff think about, and think that we need to critically think about them and be very candid on directing IGAD. Otherwise, in the future, they may have challenges on whether to consider fewer numbers or bigger numbers, and may need to have a basis for that. I thank you.
Chair, thank you very much for giving me the floor. Excellency, I do appreciate your passion and your attention to detail of this issue. It is very clear that Uganda and yourself as the minister take this issue very seriously. So we are very glad to hear that. I would like to give our gender coordinator to give the technical input on what went into the thinking of this. However, IGAD Secretariat, as I said in my initial opening remarks, exists encapsulates, works on, is accountable to our member states. We do what you direct us to do. So we don't have an agenda that is outside what you wish us to do. But let us give the technical people to explain the thinking that went into it. If I may just say on the number, I think it's probably a good idea, and it will probably be one member from each member state, and maybe I don't know. Let's listen to the technical people. Amina, you have the floor.
Thank you, Excellency Huare, and thank you, Excellency Peace, for the feedback. As for why women and youth, when we look at the WPS and the YPS agenda, we have realized that the challenges are linked most of the time, pretty much the same, not all the time, but most of the time. Organizations, and in some cases governments, are combining the two so that we are able to have a scenario where we can capitalize on the existing structures. Within the IGAD region, we've made a lot of progress in the WPS front. But on the YPS front, it's still a bit of a struggle to address some of the key challenges young people are facing. And as we reflect back on the challenges, especially in the last couple of years, we have a very young and angry population, a big, young and angry population. I give an example of the crisis that happened in Kenya not long ago, about, I think, 2 years back. And we've realized that if we are to address issues of women, peace and security, it cannot be in a vacuum, but in collaboration with matters of youth, peace and security. When it comes to programming for regional organizations as well as our partners in the international community, there's also a lot of coordination happening now in that direction, where there's combination of women and youth affairs to be able to, have a more holistic approach in addressing issues of peace and security. I hope that clarifies that bit. Even as IGAD, conversations we are having within the senior management now is the need to bring together youth and women, such that, because they're both disadvantaged groups, their issues can be addressed. And let's also note that at least half of the population in the youth category are also young women. As for the number, other than IGAD member states, there was a conversation around, one, it's not all the member states are on board at the moment, so it will be very important to have that number in the event that Eritrea rejoins. When this conversation started, Sudan had taken a bit of a break, but is now back. And it's always important to have a patron for such boards. Could be something that maybe for political will, a leader amongst our region, one of our leaders, to be the patron of. This is something that has really worked within the context of the African Union, where we have presidents that champion certain causes, and these causes are able to get the right attention because of the level of commitment at the most senior level. And this is how we were thinking in that regard.
Excellency, I would only add 2 points. One, you are very correct in that in some member states, Somalia is, for example, such a country where youth and women are two different ministries. There is Ministry of Gender and Social Affairs, and there is Ministry of Youth and Sports, completely different. The comments and the input of our gender director on programming and best practices and what partners and countries are doing, that's also another thing. That is why I say we are guided by your thinking, we are guided by your wishes. So it is up to the ministers to deliberate on this, whether we can keep it like this, or whether what other member states think. On the issue of the numbers, I propose that we say one member per member state. I think our Council of Ministers have the capability in their summits to always expand this number. If Eritrea rejoins, or even we are trying to get Tanzania to join IGAD, if Tanzania is joining IGAD, then we can have an additional member. So member states always have the architecture through the Council of Ministers and Head of State Summit to increase the number or to include member states. I submit to the Chair.
Thank you very much. I think it is important to get what is your opinion as Uganda.
Thank you very much. My opinion and what the opinion of Uganda is that to begin with, we should have one per member state, one member per member state. At least it has a slot. If a member state, if a country decides to opt out, then there is reason to have less, and there is justification for that. If they rejoin, they will find their space available. So I think that one makes us better. Issues of patronage, let within the member states, if there is a constituted team, they will pick among the members. Whether there is a patronage, but you don't want this to digress to a specific country, only the revenue, because we want everybody to have opportunities to participate. On issues of the board composing women and youth, I'm still opposed. On many occasions, we discuss issues of women, peace and security, and we also talk about women and girls. At least that has been a difficult. But when we begin smuggling people into women's space, we shall lose it. We shall lose it. I don't want to be diverted. Let us create good space for women, because we know we are just nurturing them. In Africa, women are just beginning to enter their space of decision making. It is less than 30 years when we started. Some countries have not even achieved the bare minimum 30%. 30% has been the bare minimum, not the target. The target has been 50%. But many countries have not even achieved 30%. And now we say forums which are supposed to bring more women into political programs of decision making, highlighting ideas, we begin to bring in also other partners. We are not far away from them. Neither do we want to put the young people back. We know bigger challenges face them. But they are all rooted within the gender spectrum. So I think, to me, let us not limit our policies in decision making. This board started as an idea for women's involvement into mediation and conflict. Mediation and conflict. It's open space for women to begin challenging those who start conflicts, to reduce them, to have an understanding, to have another opinion of another person who plays the role in actually the end receiver of the implications of conflict are usually women. So in my opinion, whenever there is an issue of youth, good girls, because that has been the international effort, it has been our desire for women to have space. I pray that this is considered, that wherever there is youth, put the girls, so that the women's voices are heard. We can create a board for young people. The young people also need to be heard, properly heard. So when we put them together, we limit others from participating fully. Young people have all the energy, they constitute a big percentage of our population, they need their space. In my opinion, if we created their time to speak, it will be very good and it will be good for them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Your sentiments have been taken into account. Yes, Sam wants to say something.
Thank you very much, Chair. And in a very special way, I would like to appreciate the government of Kenya and also our leadership from the IGAD and also the colleagues. I would also like to appreciate my minister from Uganda. My name is Sam Ogwal, and I serve in as the IGAD Special Youth Envoy. But at the same time, I was a former member of the National Youth Council of Uganda. Madam Chair, when you look at the current situation of our region and the landscapes of mediation, we must acknowledge that both the youth and the women are being left behind. And when it comes also to the decision-making table, this same category is also being left behind. And out of that, and with your guidance and the leadership, it's imperative that we walked the journey together. I do understand the concern that when we mix the two, the women issue must get lost. But when you look at the trend and the nature of conflicts, but also the people who are victims to the current ongoing conflict within the region, the two are moving together. In the statement of Uganda, you clearly stated that we are currently hosting around 2 million refugees. But when you go by data and we disintegrate them, you'll notice that actually the young people are the majority of those refugees. So as IGAD take leadership to ensure that we have the women and youth, including several adopted international protocols and resolutions such as Resolution 2250, Resolution 2419, that clearly emphasize on the need to involve the young people into peace negotiation, but at the same time also the implementation of peace agreement. I think moving together will not make it look like we are the young people who will maybe take over the space. But also there have been the challenges of the integrating of the young women. And these are raised very clearly during the process of this, that we must be intentional in bringing the young women on board, because when you look at the most highly displaced people and the people within the Horn of Africa, the young women are the majority. So I just kindly request that this meeting adopt this coherent movement in a way that the implementation will actually, and the term of reference will guide on how the decision process will be made. But I really appreciate your concern, and also with that, if the committees disagree, then my humble request to the Secretariat is that we must see how we can bring the youth on board quickly into the mediation process, because we have now the conflicts that are happening in Sudan. We have the mediation process taking place in South Sudan. We have the concluded mediation process that took place in Ethiopia. But when you look at the young people are nowhere, you look at the women are being outside, they're left outside. And if we move together, I think we shall learn a lot, but also we shall work closely together. Thank you. I just wanted to put in that.
Thank you very much, Sam, for your contribution. Your sentiments will be noted. Let us now get, the Secretariat has taken notes of all those which has been said, isn't it? I think we will agree on the way forward. Let's now get Sudan. So, South Sudan, yes. The minister from South Sudan?
Thank you very much. I'm here to support the communique that has just come before me, because I've gone through and I've seen that it's also talking about the Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. CEDAW, and the Beijing platform of actions, which also is part of the bill that I'm running after with the Minister of Justice so that it can reach in Parliament. That is the Family Bill and the Women Development Bill. So I'm standing and supporting the communique with the aim that that I have said before, the action and the accountability. So I will not have much to say, as I've told you that we are here to look into the action plan that will kick off from the IGAD representative. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Minister from South Sudan. I think you are in support of the communique as it is, without any amendments. So we'll now go to Djibouti. Djibouti.
We communicate that mediation and document to support. But what I want to say that we have to take the action plan after adopting this document. But I don't have a lot of tools to say something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think from the communique as it is.
Yes.
That so? Very good. Let's have a response from Ethiopia.
Thank you so much. One of my questions was raised by Uganda, Honorable Minister. When the technical team informed me that both the issue of women and youth is mixed, so one of my questions was, because actually we fully understand that both youth and women WPS issue is taken seriously, because even currently we are finalizing and being ready to endorse the National Action Plan on WPS. We did a lot of assessments on women participation, especially the meaningful participation and leadership of the peace structure. So there are critical gaps as compared to youth. And also there are a lot of factors that affect the gender norm. When we go from top to down, at the top is good, and at grassroots level, due to different gender and cultural norms, it is it's very minimal, and also in security sector is very minimum. So it may take the space. So maybe I recommend to stand alone, women peace and security, maybe the mediation of one of the other regarding the use, maybe if possible in the resource also use issue is critical issue, engagement of use, because use is in any situation we see is highly engaged in conflict and in emotional. So also focusing on use is also the other critical area to focus to work on it. So can we have a separate mediation guide that, or mediation roadmap that works? That's what I want to raise. Regarding the other, we are fully support. We are committed, as I mentioned in my commitment statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think you have heard that Ethiopia? Yes, Ethiopia. Yes, Ethiopia also have reservations on the issue of the mix, the twinning of the youth and the women. Then that becomes then the elephant in the room. So I think we hear you. Let's now go to Somalia. I skip Kenya because I'm chairing.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of the federal government of Somalia, we express our agreement and reaffirm our commitment to implementing the requesting action in collaboration with the member states in the communique. And thank you, that's all.
Thank you very much. Uganda, we have already spoken about Somalia, South Sudan. Yes, so South Sudan, yes, the minister spoke. So we now go to Kenya. I want to Thank you very much. Thank you. From the position of Kenya is that we agree with Uganda and Ethiopia that bringing women and the youth is actually going to be a very big agenda that we are likely to lose on matters women. Youth issues and women issues are totally different. Even when it comes to matters of peace, as we have spoken about, we keep on saying women can be able to see things differently. So we will bring in youth and we mix it, we are likely to lose on that particular agenda. So it is our position as Kenya that we maintain women to be women, and if we were to advance, then it will be youth who are women, girls. So if it was specific that it is the girls, then it would have gone through. But when you mix men and women, I mean youth, not segregating the boys and the girls, then we lose. So women, let women be women, women be the youth be the girls. So have a look at that. On the issue of financing, we need to have a working figure for each country. What is each member state contributing? Because if we leave it open, then we are likely to have issues that only one member state is actually honoring the obligation. The rest acquired, then we lose. So let's have a formula on how much each member state is supposed to contribute per year. And we ensure that we have that reporting. In your communication, in your, you said we request, you said we direct the IGAD Secretariat to report annually to the ministers responsible for gender and youth, which we have a reservation. But that communication should also include communication on the contribution, so that we don't have one country or only contributing, the rest go quiet, then we lose. On the composition of the membership, we should be very clear on how many members should come from each member state, so that we don't, let it be very clear. You know, we leave it, what we call in law, vague. When we leave it open, then we can have all, maybe two people coming from one member state, especially now when if you bring in the issue of the youth, the girls and the women, then you can have many coming. Let it be very specific. Lastly, I want to also say the issue of not being specific on the ministers. Like here in Kenya, the Minister for Gender is here, is the Minister for Gender, Culture and Children's Services. We don't have sports. So if you say you Minister for Gender and Sports, then in Kenya will be 2 ministers. So I think we rather stick to the guiding minister should be the Minister for Gender, so that we have it across the board. If you then sit as the Minister for Gender and Youth in your country, then you will still be okay as a minister in this, as a representative of that member state. Then you become the Minister for Gender, Sports, Culture, and other, So let the Minister for Gender be the minister representing the member state in this particular forum. I think I beg to submit that's our contribution as Kenya. Thank you very much, Chair.
I am in this I'm your assistant. Excellency, we are called the IGAD Secretariat for a reason, meaning that we are literally the Secretariat for the member states. We take note, we take literally notes of what you say to us, because the job of the IGAD Secretariat is to operationalize the instructions of the member states through the chair, which in this case is Djibouti. As I said before, Excellency, from Uganda, it is very clear that you are very passionate about this issue and have invested a lot of effort and time in this. I must admit I was a little bit nervous because we in the Secretariat do not like when there is something is on the table and one or more member states is unhappy and they go back home unhappy and they leave with the impression that, who are these people? We are the member states. What is this other agenda that they are trying to sneak in? So I emphasize this point very strongly to the ministers that in fact we can provide technical input, we can provide technical positions, we can provide capacity issues where they exist, but the decision is yours. So I think that issue is very, very, very clear. I was also a little bit thinking ahead in the implementation of the board. If you say one member state, one person per member state, and you have the youth file and the women file together, definitely some member states will send youth, meaning not necessarily women, maybe boys, maybe girls. So I think it is very clear now that we focus our resources, as you have suggested, and the other ministers have agreed to make this into peace and security for women, the Women Mediation Board. I think that point is very clear. The other issue on the budgeting. Excellency, I hear you on the need to be very specific. I will say 2 points. One, the budget of this board will come from the TOR when it will be presented to you. It will depend on what you actually want this board to do. So if you give it a lot of work, the budget will increase. If you give it a limited role, the budget will be less. However, to ensure that there is clarity, we can say, and this is a suggestion, you can accept it or you can reject it, we can say, once a budget for that board is decided, the member state portioning will be in line with the IGAD budget allocations that have already been decided by the Council of Ministers. Because there is already a formula that has been negotiated very toughly. And Excellency, the final point is I hear you on the fact that some member states are not honoring their obligations. This is a constant problem for IGAD as a whole. I hope maybe you can join us as a resource person when the Council of Ministers, the foreign ministers are meeting, so that you send this very, very supportive and very strong message. I'm told we have other things to adopt, but I submit to you.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. Uganda's hand is up.
These are our children. Even our husbands we do, but they are also create conflict. So, in this particular matter, give space for women, create another space specifically for young people, and those young people should have both genders, male and female, segregated by age. The other question I wanted to raise that you already now have the formula for contributions. You already have the formula, abide by the formula. The work is enormous. We already have stated that out of 7 countries, 5 of them are in conflict. So that's already too much work. Even the other 3, which seem to be in peace, also have issues of land conflict, they have climate change. So the work is enormous. This board will have terms of reference. I'm sure the terms of reference will be revoked. And in the terms of reference, it will determine how much work, how much scope they are able to move. So budget, if you already have a formula, just input the formula and it works for all member states, and they should have equal contributions. I don't see why one member state should have less contribution than the other when they want the results to be equal. When we share, when conflict in one country affects another country. So I think we should have equal contributions because we expect to have equal results. So specifically financing, that gives me hope that all of us will have equal contributions. I want to thank IGAD for the seeking awareness and accepting what we desire. And since they are working for the interest of the IGAD member states, I want to thank you for the input you have made, specifically the technical people. But your work was, I was not convinced of what you stated, considering the young people. It was really smuggling in. Because you didn't have opportunity, but I think it speaks to financing. All that speaks to finances. How we include them within this limited finance. Let us put them around with them. No, give us space. Create space for them as well. Because if you don't create space for them, you'll find problems because they are the ones who are architects of conflict. We shall find a lot of trouble. So let us create another space for young people to speak out, so that when we bring these matters together, we'll be able to get what solves the entire problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uganda, for that summary. Now that we have given suggestions on the amendments on the communique, I propose that we now adopt the communique subject to the amendments. Are we in agreement? Can I see your hand up, Uganda? Yeah, all of us then. Are we in agreement? I want to see Somalia. Which country is not? So I think we have unanimously, Kenya is up. Yes, we have unanimously adopted the joint communique subject to the amendments to the document. Thank you very much, and I thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for our excellencies, the ministers, His Excellency His Excellency Deputy Ware, and also an appreciation for our partners who've supported our Special Envoy and Deputy Director. We now move to the end of the program, where we will be launching. I'd request the gentleman to come and help me put this up, please. Where are the gentlemen who are setting this up for us? And so we will call upon the ministers, His Excellency Deputy ES and the Special Envoy to come up here. We'll do it down here and move this forward. I think that's easier to manage. Yeah, so we'll do it from down here. Yes, and move this. Media people, you can now come and sit to the front. Other, into. Yeah, we'll use this, okay. And is it computer? Bring them close. Is it computer? Is all media ready? Yeah, and those that are set up at the back, you can come to the front if you'd like. Yeah, I'd like to have all the ministers as well. Please join. Thank you. Djibouti. Yeah. For the group pictures. And next is now we proceed to officially launch the adopted instruments. Excellency, you will guide us on this. Yeah, jointly with the ministers. Yes, is everyone? Okay. And the instruments are officially adopted and launched. A round of applause. Congratulations, and thank you, Excellencies, for leading on these processes. We really appreciate. One more picture where we'll just take by the sides. Yeah. Yeah. Now we'll take a picture so that we can also showcase the documents on each side of the document. Yes. So, yes, yeah, move a little, move this way a little, yeah, so that, yes. A little, just a little, just, yeah, أحيرها, there, good. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, another round of applause. Thank you so much, Excellencies, really appreciate. I think you need to officially close.
Yes, I will, the Minister will do the official closing. So, Excellency, come here. So, Excellencies, delegates, special envoy, we do not say much because we really have a long deliberation, the official closing today, but also 2 days of technical meeting. Excellency, what we have done today is a very important step in ensuring that women are at the center of peace initiatives in our region. We all know during conflict, women take a disproportionate burden in managing not only the families, but also the affairs. This is both a difficulty and an opportunity. A lot of women in business, in politics, in life get established through conflict. Because when the men go to work to fight, then they have to take care of the families, they have to do the businesses, they have to educate the children, they have to administer communities. Therefore, we are aware not only of the challenges, but of the opportunities that women provide during times of conflict. As I said in the deliberations, we, IGAD Secretariat, are at your service, at the service of our member states, to ensure that we provide the technical support, we provide the harmonization, we help capacities with countries that are facing fragile and difficult situations, post-conflict situations, but we take this mission seriously that you have instructed us to do. With that, Excellency, I hand the microphone over to you for the official closing remarks by the host government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Another round of applause for him. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Republic of Kenya and on behalf of my fellow ministers, I want to take this opportunity to thank the IGAD, all the IGAD member states, the Secretariat, our partners, the Republic of Japan, and all those who have made this conference a success. I think it was good. We have read, we have spoken to the documents, and we are very happy to be part of this success in the strategy for gender statistics and the gendered intersectionality toolkit. We have given our views, and we now want to charge you as a secretariat that we expect a robust and firm action from your end. You've had what the member states have said, including establishment of another table for the youth. Because where women are, we are with our children. We are with our husbands. And if you add from our speeches, we are sitting at a time when a lot is happening in our region, a lot is happening in the world. And we can be that tool, we can be that team that can bring change. Change begins with us. I want to still echo what my sister from Uganda said, that this is a subject that was spoken about for many, many years, but IGAD took the challenge. You've been given another assignment. Take the challenge. We are ready as member states to grow with you. We are ready to support, but the agenda comes from people who sit, think, and help us to work together. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you, participants. God bless you. God bless Africa. God bless the world. Asanteni sana, and I would now wish to declare this meeting officially closed. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, now we are being told, let's all go out for a group photo. Asanteni sana.
Especially those who